Hi everyone, I'm Laura and welcome to Living on Cruise Control. I recently left the corporate grind to pursue my dream of living full-time on cruise ships. I was just sitting in the Catch by Rudy's having dinner, and the captain came on the loudspeaker and said there's going to be some beautiful views. Sunset was supposed to be amazing as we were leaving Sicily and sailing around the boot of Italy, and I thought, what a great opportunity for me to just have a completely unscripted, my videos actually aren't scripted at all, but a completely open and raw and just honest conversation about if not now, then when. If not now, then when is such a pivotal, important phrase, such a simple phrase, but it actually had a profound impact on my life. And I just wanted to share a little bit more about my journey and that phrase in particular. I had always thought that I would retire when I was 40. First, I thought I was going to be a millionaire by the time I was 30. I had high expectations. And then thought I really want to retire by the time I'm 40. And then 40 turned into 50. And as I past turning 50, it seemed like retirement and the idea of retirement just kept getting further and further away. I was so afraid of running out of money, especially as a single female at the top of her career and earning the most money that I'd earned my entire life. I was actually a senior vice president in the corporate world, and had a very large global team, and the idea of stepping away from that stability and being dependent on not just that income, but my priority had always been my career, and continuing to grow had always been one of the most important things to me, to the point where, to be honest, it was almost consuming. It became my identity. My job became my identity. And the idea of leaving, what would I do with myself? What would I do all day? It felt like it was the beginning of the end of my life, and that scared me a lot. I think a lot of people are in this position where they feel like, I don't have enough money. What if something happens? What if I get to the point where I'm too old and I can't earn income anymore? I don't want to become dependent on my family. I don't want to become dependent on the government. I don't want to become homeless. Like, these fears are real. The next fear is really, what am I supposed to do with myself? Like, who am I? It's interesting when people ask me now when I'm traveling, they always ask where I'm from first. I think that's just a common opener for people that are cruising or traveling. And I always say I am from right here in the moment. I live in this, on this ship in this moment today. My family's in Arizona, but my home is wherever I'm happening to be traveling at that time. And that usually starts a pretty interesting conversation. And then, what do you do for a living? What do you do is always part of what we ask people. Like, what do you do? Where do you live? And it was really hard for me to answer that question. I just retired. I retired early. I'm not sure what I'm doing for a living. YouTube is a lot of fun, but I didn't start this YouTube channel to drive an income. I did it to help share ideas and things that I'm learning along the way to help people not make the same mistakes I made, and to try to make sure that they're not wasting their time or their money. That's so valuable and precious. If there's anything that I can do to help avoid that, that's really what my purpose is, to help even one person have a better time, have a better vacation. But I think it's so much bigger than just a vacation. It's, if not now, then when? I'd heard this phrase on a podcast that I was listening to multiple times, and I kept asking myself, like, I would wake up in the middle of the night and think, if not now, then when? Like, what am I waiting for? Nothing's ever going to be perfect. You're never going to have enough money. You're never going to have the right house. I mean, if not now, then when? What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the perfect spouse? the perfect job, the perfect fill in the blank, the perfect car, the perfect, I don't know, family, the perfect year in order to do something important. What are you really waiting for, and how much time do you really have left? I think that's the thing that has really been on my mind, is we don't know how much time we have left. It could be a day, it could be a week, it could be, decades. No one really knows. I feel lucky to still be here. I feel really lucky and very blessed to still be here. I'm living beyond the age of my mom's passing, and in another decade or so beyond my father's life. And who knows if I get to live beyond then. The fact that I can still be here and live my life even beyond the number of days that my mom had feels like an honor and a blessing, and something that I need to do to honor her. And I think, if not now, then when? Really ask yourself, what am I really waiting for? Like, if not now, then when? Nothing's ever going to be perfect to take that chance. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect to get married. It's never going to be perfect to have a baby. It's never going to be perfect to take a chance or a risk in something that you really believe in yourself that you can accomplish, but it's scary. And letting go of the person you thought you were, or thought you could become, is a really frightening idea. And I was literally in a little shop picking up some birthday stuff for my daughter-in-law's birthday's coming up in August, and I wanted to make sure I could decorate our cabin for her birthday. And in this gift shop, I saw this book that literally says, I'm not sure if it's going to read it correctly on camera, but it says, if not now, then when? And it's a little study journal that starts in September. But it's so interesting to me that I feel like that phrase just keeps showing up in my life. Like, if not now, then when? Like, what are you waiting for? And what are you really afraid of? Journal about it, talk about it, take that chance, take that risk. You can always go back to what you know. What you know, what's familiar to you, that's easy. You know how to do that. You know how to live that way, work that way, earn a living that way, be that person. That's easy. You can always go back to what you know at any time. But if you're thinking about retiring and it's scary, if not now, then when? What are you really waiting for? You have a lot more money than you think you have, and there's a lot of ways to continue to earn income even when you're retired, and there's a lot of ways to live inexpensively than you may be living today. Make that when now. If you're thinking, I'm not ready to get married, or I'm not ready to have a baby, if not now, then when? Like, what are you waiting for, and what are you afraid of? Because you might just be missing out on something so fantastic in your life because you're waiting for the perfect moment, and that perfect moment may not come. You may not get that chance. So take that chance now. Take that risk, take that leap of faith, believe in yourself, because that fear or the things that you're worried about, honestly, may not even happen. The things that I was afraid of before I started this new lifestyle, none of it's actually happened. My days aren't perfect. I still have a bad day, or I'm in a bad mood, or things don't go exactly as I planned. No matter what, that's going to happen in your life. Like, that's just life, and that's living. But I'm so grateful that I believed that I could make cruise ships my home base, and that I could figure out how to do it within a budget that I could afford. And I took the leap of faith in posting my first video, and I'm going to have to tell you, it took months. I had no problem presenting at work. I had no problem presenting to thousands of people because I knew what I was doing, and I knew the subject of the career that I'd had for decades. But to actually put your face out there to a bunch of strangers to judge and figure out the technology behind it, it was daunting. It literally took me months to post that first video, and I'd never been more nervous in my entire life. So even something that should be so simple at my age, and when you look at my background and my career, was actually one of the most difficult things that I've ever done. But man, oh man, am I so glad I did it. I'm so glad that I'm here. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful for all of you. And I think the biggest message that I want to leave you with today is, if not now, then when? What are you really waiting for? What are you really afraid of? Take that chance. Take that risk. Believe in yourself. Be fearless. Be fierce. You can always go back to the familiar. You can always go back to what you know. But behind that leap of faith could be the most amazing and incredible life ever. Like, look behind me right now as the sun is setting here in Italy. If I think about my life just a year ago, I was living in India, working 4 a.m. until all hours of the night. And when I wasn't working, I was thinking about it, stressing about it, worrying about it, planning for it. There was so much work. It felt like my to-do list grew every day. Instead of checking things off your to-do list, my to-do list just kept growing every single day. And I didn't know how not to be that person. I didn't know how not to be consumed with life. I didn't know how not to have the identity of being a senior leader, of something that I had worked for so long and had finally achieved. And then I kept on thinking about, when do I stop this constant stress of just working so much? And I don't know, it just felt like, if not now, then when, just kept resonating. It just kept resonating over and over again. And I want you to ask yourself that same question. If not now, then when? What are you really waiting for? And how different could your life be if you just believed in yourself and just trusted that things are going to work out the way they're meant to, and that if they don't, it's okay, and failure is a part of the process. Fail forward, fail often, fail fast, and fail forward, and continue to take those chances. Because again, if not now, then when? What are you really waiting for? Thanks so much. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.